Industrial globalization and the metric system in America. Before industrial globalization, we didn't need a unified system of measuring, and now that the need is upon us, the cost may be too great. Is it too late for America to change? The US started a conversion program some 40 years ago, but stopped just a short 10 years later. Simple reason: cost. Imagine that all imperial measuring devices must be replaced. Gas station pumps, shop scales, tooling in the workshops, metalworking machines, instruments, road markings and signs, temperature scales, college and engineering books, and formulas, and much, much more. Then people must also start to think a little differently as well. Yes, the metric system is a simpler concept to learn. It's simple and easily broken down by factors of 10. It's easy to understand, translate, and works well within manufacturing. But sometimes the easiest isn't always better. But when it comes down to the mechanics of use for industry, the imperial system is a far more convenient numbering system for computing fractions than most other number systems in common use. You see, the integer 10 only has two numbers that it's divisible by, 2 and 5. However, 12 is divisible by 2, 3, 4, and 6. Of its factors, 2 and 3 are prime, which means that the reciprocals of all three smooth numbers, such as 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9, the five most elementary fractions, half, 1/3, 2/3, a quarter, and 3/4, all have a short terminating representation in decimals, 0.6, 0.4, 0.8, 0.3, and 0.9 respectively, which, in simple terms, the functional uses are far greater. Which is probably why the Egyptians and the Romans used a similar form. Okay, so here's what we're facing. The French had a great idea for unifying Europe into one system of measurements. Makes sense. Simple proximity and turn of events caused the European nations to conform to the French metric system, and because of regional trade with other countries, many more fell in line. It was the isolation of America that allowed us to develop our own system, the imperial system. It was Jefferson who first looked at the metric system as a standard measuring for America. The U.S. would probably have adopted the metric system during the Jefferson administration had it not been for the fact that most of the standards resided in Paris. Jefferson was a big fan of the system, but advocated for standards based on universally verifiable constants, rather than such things as an iridium bar in a French museum. So, moving forward with the business of America, Jefferson developed plans for measuring America's land with our imperial system. America is largely broken up into townships, each measuring 1 square mile, containing 640 acres, with 36 sections making up one survey township on a rectangular grid. The important part of all of this is that every deed issued within the past 200 plus years has land listed as, for example, Government Lot 2 in Section 11, Township 43. As all that information is stored in the county/state records of land, this would have to all be changed if we fully converted to metric, resulting in possible land loss of individual land for owners, because it won't convert evenly like it is now. Going back to the breakdown of 12. 12 breaks down into 2, 3, 4, or 6 evenly. With that aside, the rest of the world uses the metric system, and in some or most cases of global industry requires us to as well. That's where conversion comes in. The imperial system converts to metric easily, And chances are that you have a calculator in your pocket right now on your phone. I personally don't think that the need to convert to metric is great enough to turn loose of what we already have, and the cost is way too high. I say that we hold on to our national individuality and still hold our place as a global market leader. It's worked just fine up till now.